Stand by.
All right, guys, next to the match lessons from Rocky Mountain. This one is on how to speed up your long-range rifle, specifically making the transitions faster. So you can call long-range rifle shots very much in the same way that you can call pistol shots. So on this stage here, there were 7 pieces of steel, all kind of 100 to 200 yards. So this is a pretty good example of this, but this applies to all long-range rifle shooting. Now, what I'm trying to do here is basically shoot something the same way that I would shoot a pistol shot. So when I press the trigger, I know that my dot is on the target. I'm just shooting the dot in the middle of my reticle right now because everything is inside 200 yards, so I don't have any holds, but this does apply to longer range stuff. You know, for example, there's a 550 at the end of this. I did this similar thing shooting like 3.5 mils on that target. So this applies regardless of the distance. It's obviously a little bit easier at close distance, but you actually gain more out of it at longer distances. So I'm going to show you my whole rifle run here really quick so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so there is the first rifle position. Now, so obviously, you know, my splits between targets are reasonably fast, and I'm going to show you the best example here. I'm going to pause this and see if I can zoom in on the middle. So there is a piece of steel with a yellow backer right in the middle, and then to the right of that steel, there are 2 flashers. And this is probably the best example visually of what I'm talking about. So let me see if I can get to the spot. So here it is right here. So I shoot this yellow piece of steel, and if you watch my body while you're listening to the shot, as soon as that round leaves the gun, I'm shifting my body to the left to shift my rifle to the right, and by the time she makes the hit call, I'm already on the next piece of steel getting ready to press the trigger. So that looks like this. So here it is one more time. So what I'm doing is, as soon as I press the trigger, and I know my reticle is in the right place, and I know that I press the trigger without disturbing the gun, I know I'm going to hit the target. So I'm taking the time when that bullet is in the air, the time for the sound to come back, the time for the RO to make the hit, all of those things, and I'm using that time to transition onto the next target. Now, there is some risk involved in this. Obviously, if you misjudge yourself, you miss one of these things, now you have to do that transition all over again in the opposite direction. And if you engage the next target before you hit the first target, there's a chance that you're going to be shooting at a target that the RO is no longer looking at. So all of this can compound pretty badly if you misjudge your capabilities. The other thing is there is a target that I shot right here, which is way back to the right, probably like 100 to 110 yard IPSC steel. And a lot of people shot that from this position. They actually went a little bit farther forward, and they took a knee and they shot that thing to the right, and then they went prone. In fact, everybody except for me on my squad shot that. And so you can see the RO when we run into this position, she is running off to the left here so she can see that target off to the right, but I'm not shooting that target. I'm shooting the T-post target that's on the left side. So that looked like this. So I made those first 2 shots, and honestly, I doubt that she saw the target, but she just heard it. So this can apply to if they are still making a hit call from a previous target that you shot and you transition on to another target, you can actually outrun the RO and they might not see your hits. So that is another risk to worry about. Depending on who's ROing the stages, I might actually intentionally shoot the long range slightly less aggressive just so I can be sure the ROs are making all of the hit calls and don't miss anything. So basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to shoot long range rifle the same way that I would shoot a pistol. I am calling my shot from the sight picture that I'm seeing and not waiting for a hit call in order to move on to the next piece of steel. There is risks involved in that, both outrunning the RO and just missing the shot. But at some point, if you want to start doing really well at matches with a lot of long-range shooting, you have to shoot with that level of aggression.